What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Abe, and this is a video about Destiny 2, largely geared towards the casual PvE gamer. Now, PvP weapon choices are it's their own beast, but for now, let's talk about the must-have weapons that you should try to get your hands on if you have a chance. Now, generally, Banshee will sell weapons every week, and a lot of them are seasonal weapons. And so you can look through here and see what he's selling. And if any of these weapons jump out at you, you should grab them, and I'll explain why. So Nezarec's Whisper, Offstringer are good examples. So let's say you thought one of those was a must-have weapon, or one of the weapons that I'm about to talk to you about. From this season at least, and maybe in the future, there are these things called deep sight harmonizers that allow you to, if you have a weapon that you don't have the blueprint for, use this to activate that deep sight. So that gives you a blueprint contribution to what you need, right? And you can look over here under patterns and catalysts, say, I don't know, you're see pattern progress 1 out of 3. If I really wanted this one, I could look for Fell Terradiddle and then use one of those deep sight harmonizers to unlock one of the 3 pattern progress that I have there. But the point of this video is to show you what PvE weapons outside of raids, because a lot of casual players don't have access to raids, you should really be keeping an eye out for. So we're going to start with energy weapons. They revamped all of the various subclasses in the last year, and with those revamps came a bunch of perks that make for great weapons. So let's start with Void. Now, Funnelweb would be my first sort of must-have weapon. A lot of these are SMGs, but stay with me on this one. Funnelweb is just a random world drop, and there are a few roles that are great. Subsistence and Frenzy is the one that I really like. There's also Subsistence and Adrenaline Junkie. Some people really like that one as well, but there are a bunch, so keep your eyes out for a Funnelweb that is good, and that's a 900 RPM SMG. And on the Void front, there's also Unforgiven, which is a 750 RPM SMG, and that drops in the Duality dungeon. Now, this is not a god roll, this is not one that you want, but Unforgiven has the ability to drop with Demolitionist and Repulsor Brace, and Repulsor Brace is the perk that you want to be looking for on some of these newer Void weapons. Unfortunately, Funnelweb doesn't roll with it, but other weapons do. So that's Void. I would look for Funnelweb, Unforgiven from Duality. If you're able to run that dungeon, I think it drops from the second major encounter. I haven't, as you can see, gotten my drop yet, but something to farm for and look for. Arc weapons, you're looking for Volt Shot and these 3 specific weapons. Tarnished Mettle, which is a scout rifle, and it can, as you see, be crafted into having Demolitionist and Volt Shot. I personally love Demo on a lot of my weapons. The short range version comes on one of these 2 weapons. The first is Brigand's Law, which, as you can see, I've crafted mine to be Volt Shot and Threat Detector. Or what probably you're going to want to use for closer range instead of Brigand's Law, if you can, is the Ikelos SMG. Note the version 1.0.3. And again, that rolls with Volt Shot. Now, Volt Shot requires a reload. You get a kill and then you reload, and now you have Volt Shot. So look for these 3 weapons. Tarnished Mettle is a scout rifle. You'll want that for longer range engagements, like some of the harder content in the game. You want to stay further back. But if you're just clearing trash, Ikelos SMG is really nice. And again, Volt Shot is what you're looking for, and so keep your eyes peeled for these 3 for Arc. Now, when we get into Solar, Calus Mini Tool is definitely a must-have, and the perk that you're looking for is Incandescent. You can craft it if you are able. If not, then just keep your eyes peeled for this. The second one, that's up to personal choice, but the real money one here is Incandescent. That adds Scorch, which is a damage over time burn effect to enemies, and so if you kill something, everything nearby it gets Scorch stacks, and if there are enough Scorch stacks on everything, then they explode, and it does good work. So Calus Mini Tool is probably the one of the biggest ones that you can look for here, and for your solar builds, there's a lot of great synergy there. And then also, similar to Unforgiven, is No Survivors. And this drops from the latest Ghost dungeon. And that can roll also with Demolitionist and Incandescent. You can see I don't have my roll of that yet. I can't get it to drop. So, oh well. But those are the two SMGs that you might want to look for. SMGs have been really strong lately in PvE content. And again, all of these are sort of PvE focused. I don't really do PvP. It drives me nuts and makes me miserable, and there's no reason to do that if it's not necessary, and it's not necessary. So I will avoid the misery. But No Survivors, Demo and Incandescent, Calus Mini Tool, whatever you want, and Incandescent, really nice weapons. If you ascribe to the philosophy that you should have a primary ammo weapon and a secondary ammo weapon in addition to your heavy, then an option is to look at these two trace rifles. The Retraced Path, as you can see, can be crafted or roll with Subsistence and Incandescent, which is really nice. And Hollow Denial can roll with or be crafted into a repulsor brace and whatever you want. I've got adaptive munitions on mine because this is back when they still had match game and the shield types were very important to match to. But these two are worth considering. There is an arc trace rifle that you can look for. The name of it slips my mind. I don't really like it for this sort of thing because of the necessary reload mechanic. The magazines on trace rifles are so large already. Here it is. Path of Least Resistance. You can see I haven't even crafted mine. I haven't leveled it up past the base power level. But you can roll this with Volt Shot. But with a magazine that's like 100 in the clip, the synergy isn't there. So something to keep in mind. But those are two. The other option for secondary ammo weapons in these situations are grenade launchers, but I'm not going to talk about those. I don't personally feel like there are any must-haves for me, and this is my list. So if you disagree, by all means, throw the weapons that you think are must-haves for you down in the comments, and we can talk about them. So that's the energy weapons for the most part. Now, up in the primary or kinetic weapons, or these days it's a lot of Stasis and Strand weapons. Irukandji was sold by Banshee a while back with this roll on it, 4th time's a charm. This is also a world drop, so like Funnelweb, you'll probably be getting these from random activities that you're doing. But this is a great roll, 4th time's a charm, firing line. Firing line increases the amount of damage, precision damage you do when you're with your party. And this one just gives you free ammo if you're landing precision hits repeatedly. So I really like this. And the other, I will say must have, but for Strand, this sort of changed the game significantly when it came out. Now this is a Trials of Osiris weapon, and I went in hating PvP as I do, and I just lost and lost and lost and lost until I got the rep required to get this weapon. But also a 750 RPM SMG does really good work for Strand. Something to look for if you see it anywhere, or something similar to it, and there are some similar options here. Heavy weapons, there are only 3 that really jump out at me. Non-raid weapons. Retrofit Escapade was really strong and still is, and it can roll with target lock and 4th time's the charm. And this thing is a 900 RPM heavy machine gun and worth checking out. Stormchaser is a linear fusion rifle. That drops from Duality, and that also drops with firing line, and you can get rapid hit on it. Personally, I really like this weapon. It's an aggressive frame, so it fires a 3-round burst instead of the standard 1 round from most of the other linear fusion rifles. And then secondly is Taipan, and Taipan is the void craftable linear fusion rifle, and there are a number of good options there. But these are kind of your staples for longer range weapons. Short range, you should try to find Falling Guillotine, which is a vortex frame sword, and what you're looking for on that is Whirlwind Blade. This is not a god roll for me anyway. I would want Relentless Strikes here or something like that to help with my heavy ammo economy, but Whirlwind Blade is what you're looking for, and then the vortex frame, and very few of those fall or drop and exist, and so falling guillotine is kind of what you're looking for there. So those are the weapons as I see them currently that are sort of the must-haves that are not exotic. These are all legendaries, but worth grabbing if you see one. If it's a craftable weapon, it doesn't matter what the role is. Grab it, use your deep sight harmonizer on it, and then slowly build up your collection of blueprints so that you can craft it and make it your own. And for the ones that aren't, farm it up. Like Stormchaser drops in duality. This one is going to be really hard to farm, but there are other options to keep your eyes peeled for. Irukandji can be farmed just sort of in the open world. Funnelweb. But yeah, just something to keep your eyes out for and to be aware of. And those are the weapons as I see them as that are must-have for PvE. If you have anything that you think I missed that you think definitely should be on this list, hit it up in the comments and we can talk about it as well. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.